Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. And this is our Legends segment tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a pair of legends on tonight with us. Two power sisters from Katy, Texas. Stefanie and Briana Gilbreath. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you. Such a nice introduction.
I know, right?
We got power players on the show tonight.
Hyped us up a little bit.
I know. Seriously.
That's cool. Well, listen, welcome to the show. I've been looking forward to having you guys on for a while, just to have a little conversation about your life from the beginning up until this point. You know, you're young, you got a long life to live, right? So you guys, most people know you guys from your basketball years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so both of you guys play high school ball at a great high school. You did well in high school, and you both got, first of all, both of you guys were McDonald All-Americans coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
you guys are a year apart in age, right?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
year and a half.
A year apart in age. So, you know, and this is amazing for me, right? Because I see you guys, you know, you played ball together growing up, you played ball in high school. And then Bree, when she went off to USC ahead of you, right? You went to USC right behind her. Now, if that had been Brenton and Bryce, you know that wouldn't happen, right?
No, I already, you know that. You know that. You have to have a special kind of relationship.
Right. We
So-
already said we were gonna do that. It was planned.
Okay, it was planned.
We had a few schools that tried to break us up. They almost got us, but I had to reel it back in,
I know that's right. I know that's right. So you're already gone, and so you were hoping that Bree was going to join you, and just like the guy did Dion in Florida State, you were going to do the okie doke, Bree.
You know, there were a couple of schools that had actually kind of caught my interest. You know, like UT, Duke, like there were some Cal, like there were some schools that were still, Texas A&M was still in the mix, obviously USC. And so I had some teams that tried to come in late, you know, some teams that maybe were rebuilding or had a new coach, and thought, you know, okay, let me see if I can try to sneak and get her to stay here in Texas, or, you know, come to my school or whatever. So there were definitely some teams that tried to, you know, make a last minute move.
Midnight hour.
Yeah, exactly. But I stayed true. I stayed true to the pact that Steph and I made.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That is so awesome. So let's back up just a little bit. All right. We know you went to USC, but when did both of you guys start playing basketball? How old were you, and what inspired you to start playing in the beginning?
I think we were young. I want to say like 4, I would think. Because it was like whenever we didn't even have a basketball goal, and Dad was just like holding his arms out, and you just shoot it.
That's crazy.
And just shoot it in there, and then it just like gradually, like we just started playing from there, and it just escalated from like getting a goal, then getting like the goal in the front yard, the big, like you know, you feel like a grown up with that basketball goal, and then from there. So yeah, I would say like 4, 6 was like our first KYB. I think that's when you could like finally like start playing KYB ball, like City League. And then from there, it was just like we were engulfed in it.
So, all right. So you never watched anybody else play basketball. You just started, you know, you didn't look up to some of the great women playing, Cheryl Miller, anybody.
Of course.
You just start playing.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually wasn't into any other sports.
Really?
I was doing like tap dance and like ballet.
What?
That's the picture y'all need in her Rockin' Robin outfit.
I really was. Like I was a tap dancer. I tried everything, gymnastics, like I was into all those things.
Okay.
I like my parents tried to get me to try soccer because Steph was in soccer, hated it, didn't like getting kicked, not for me. Tried karate, hated it, ended up getting like kicked out of my karate class. I was not into any of that. And the only reason why I even started playing basketball was just from watching Steph. I mean, obviously we would do things, you know, with our dad, like shooting in his arms, like she said. But I didn't like take it seriously until I actually saw her playing. And then it was like, oh, okay, you know, like let me try it and see.
Yeah.
And, you know, and for the longest I was just doing like KD youth basketball, KYB. And Steph started playing AAU. And I was too young. But she was, I mean, she was really good, and she was just out there killing it at like 8 years old.
So that was
I looked up to her. Yes,
that was your
exactly.
inspiration.
That was all I needed.
Whatever my big sister, I'm gonna do what my big sister's doing.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, that's so funny because Bryce and Brenton started the same way. Because you know, we started out playing soccer, right?
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep Bryce off the field. I mean, it was a struggle for us to keep him from running on the field during a game.
Yeah.
And so I started coaching Steph. And then what happened was Bryce could play when he was 3, since I was a coach. And so after he started playing, he played everything at a young age, trying to follow his big brother.
Yep, because like it was really like I was playing up, so I was 8 playing on a 10 and under team.
Wow.
And then whenever Bree was playing, she was 7, 8. Well, when she turned 8, then she was playing with 11-year-olds. So it was like we always had that gap until it was like my senior year and then Bree's senior year. So we always played up.
Now, see, now did you feel like that was an advantage for you and it helped develop your game because you played against older kids all the time?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that's literally how I had to prove myself playing against the older girls, because they were like, oh, you're not old enough, so you can't play with us. And so I was like, no, I can prove myself. So I went out there and I like was an 8-year-old playing with these 10-year-old, and I was holding my own. And I'll never forget that, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
But I tell you, wasn't it a special time though? When you look back on that time, don't you just grin all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, because you really, when you think about it, like you still carry that into like how you are now and how you approach things, like because it all started from like our dad seeing something in the paper, and I was like, oh, I can do that. Like I can do that. I want to try out for the team.
Wow.
And like taking on that like challenge. And you know, like now you look back and it's like we've been taking on challenges, you know, our whole career, and kind of like
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When you guys went to USC, that women's program is still one of the best women's program in this country. You know, for years it's been that way, because you know, I'm quite sure it didn't start with Cheryl Miller, you know, but the women who came and played there after Cheryl Miller, I'm talking about USC was on the map on the East Coast. And so we all followed that program, you know, Cynthia Cooper. I mean, we can name 20 people that played in that program.
Exactly. Tina Thompson. I mean, literally
off the chain. I mean, it was off the
Lisa.
chain, right?
Like the list goes on.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
people forget that she went to USC.
See, that's the problem with great programs. You forget some of the great players that played there because it's so many.
Exactly.
You always leave some off the list. You also
a lot of talent.
You always do that. Well, that was amazing, man. But tell me this now. This was great. Both of you guys were McDonald All-Americans. Listen, you know how hard it is to be a McDonald All-American?
Yeah.
Very nice. Then Steph, you did it, and then I guess Bree was just like, Bryce, I'm gonna show him I can be one too, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we were praying. We were like, they better not, because it was like we were all like, they better not disrespect Bree and not put her on the list. Like we were coming for everybody if she wasn't on the list. Man, it was like, how is that not? How did she not make it? And when she did, we screamed. Like I was so happy.
That was a crazy experience, because when I found out that I had made McDonald American, it was literally like, well, my parents knew before I knew, but I personally found out. They didn't tell me until a couple of days after I actually like ended up not getting Player of the Year in my district.
Oh,
now think about that. Like
Right.
district, you know,
You should, right.
they're hands down. Like, I'm not, you know, we had some talented players, but
Right.
you know, you can't be a McDonald American and not win like Player of the Year in your district.
Exactly.
Right.
But Steph had won it for 4 years
What?
before that. So it was
They
one of those
were
things.
hating on us. They were
didn't
hating
want
on
no
us,
to do
Bobby.
it.
It was like, we're not letting this
Right.
happen this year. Like,
Right.
we are not going to allow
Right.
this. So snub
Wow.
me on the Player of the Year.
Oh my God.
And a couple days later, I come into my bedroom, and my dad had McDonald bags all
What?
over the room, and I just went
Oh my God.
crazy.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I can
It is
imagine.
hard. It really is hard.
It's
It's an
hard.
honor. You know,
You
it
know,
is.
when you think about a McDonald American team, that's truly every basketball player in the nation.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking about the state of Texas. We're talking about
Exactly.
all
Yeah.
50, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's a big honor. I remember, you know, watching the McDonald American games for years, looking
Mhm.
at the future NBA players, and then when I found out both you guys, I said, man, that's an amazing feat.
Yeah, it
Amazing
is. It's
feat.
still crazy. It's still crazy when like
Mhm.
people like bring it up, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, yeah, that actually happened. Like
That
that's
happened.
real
Exactly.
life. That happened.
Now, is that a future McDonald American Bree you holding in your lap?
You know what? It might be. This is Lily.
Oh,
Lily.
Lily.
Lily. Hi, Grandpa Bobby. Say hi. Hi, Grandpa.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Oh
I've
my
got this
gosh.
one here, and then my big boy in the background flipping through books right now.
Okay. All right.
So probably we got a couple of Mickey D's All
Mickey D's.
Americans.
I know, right?
That's
Oh my
right.
gosh.
Hey,
I
listen.
can't wait.
Listen, this is the way I look at it, right? I'm serious. This is the way I look at it, right? Okay, y'all know I played, right? My boys played, Brenton and Bryce.
Mhm.
You know, your daddy was a world-class track and field guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wardell Gilbreath was one of the best 200-meter men in the whole world, not just the United States.
Yep.
His
Yeah.
times were worldwide. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, he was close to breaking the world's record
Mhm.
in the mid-70s. So,
Yeah.
you know, so when I look at all that on both sides of the family, I go, these grandkids got a chance.
They really do. They
They got a
do.
real
They
chance,
do.
right? They got a real chance. So I'm excited about that too. I've been prophesying that.
Say hi.
Hey, what's up, boy? What's up, Brady?
You know he had to get in the mix. He can't hear y'all because I
Yes.
have you in my AirPods,
We
but
gotta put him in there, right? How you doing, buddy?
oh, great, lovely.
Okay, not on the show, Brady. Not on
Yeah,
the show.
you can't say that on the show, okay? You gotta get down. Okay, get down.
That's granddaddy's fault, y'all. That's granddaddy's fault.
I was gonna say, you know who taught him that? This one that's hosting the show taught him
Oh my
that.
gosh. That's all right.
Oh
That's
my
all right.
gosh.
He's great. We're good. So y'all go and y'all go to USC. And not only did y'all play well, I mean, y'all really had a great career at SC. And then Bree was there 4 years. And Stefanie, you were injured. You tore your ACL once or twice.
I tore it 3 times in college.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, going into my freshman year, I tore it at the McDonald's All-American game. And then the year after that. So the first time I played was my senior year, Bree's junior year.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough. But you kept going.
Yeah.
And-
I got an extra year. I got 2 extra years. Well, I actually got 3, but I only used 2.
Too.
I stayed
Right.
an extra year at USC, and then I transferred to New Mexico State after Bree graduated. And she left. I went to New Mexico State.
Mhm. That's when you transferred to New Mexico State. You transferred and played with a coach who coached you at USC, correct?
Yeah. That was
Right.
awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome. It was comfortable.
Right. Very, very. Especially know the coach, because that's a big deal in athletics. You know, when you get to the college level and above, you know, coaching is everything for you, right?
Yeah. It is. It allowed me to like really trust what he said, because I trusted what he said when I was going into USC. So I knew going into New Mexico State, it was going to be like I could hold him for his word.
Right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, that's and then after college, Bree, you went on and played professional basketball for 3 years. I guess 3. Well, I consider it more than 3 years because you played not only in the WNBA, you play international basketball. And that's like playing basketball year round.
It is.
I don't know how you do that, right?
Literally.
Right.
It
so
is basketball year round.
And how long are you home before you're gone overseas? It's not long, right?
Not long. So for me, whenever I did play WNBA season, it was one of those things where you would play overseas. You maybe would go in August. It depends on like the actual. Sorry, Liana's trying to pull my charger out of the wall. But anyway, you play your season. You head there around like August. It depends. Like if you get in the playoffs in the WNBA, you might go a little bit later. Some people go deep into September, October. I think the latest I ever went was in October. And then from there, you go straight overseas and you maybe have like a week, if that. But most people don't get time off when you get there overseas. Okay. Okay. Most people don't get time. You have to jump right into it. And typically the overseas teams are in a training camp of some sort. And so they don't care that you're just coming off of a WNBA season. They are like, no, we're starting right now, you know, and you're going to do the training just like everyone else, as though you're not in shape. So you spend 6 to 8 months there. You maybe get a break for like Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving, just depends on your team and the league and when they get breaks. And that Christmas break maybe will be like a week long. It won't even be like 2 weeks. It won't be a month.
Yeah, no, it's nothing.
1 week.
It's tough to come if you're playing overseas in China or in Belgium, or Germany. Steph, if you're in Germany, just say, well, look, I'm going home for like Christmas holidays. It's not that simple, right?
It's not that simple.
No.
You actually have to give a reason for everything, no matter what's going on. So I know my last year playing overseas, our grandpa passed away, and it was like pulling teeth to be able to leave. And it's crazy because we have a friend that is experiencing difficulties right now trying to get back home after playing in a league overseas. So it can be very difficult and it's stressful, but the experiences you get while you're there are really a blessing. And you get to see a lot of things.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, you're spending like 6 to 8 months there. So you get the opportunity to see things and do things. But when that season is over, and you go back to the WNBA, again, you don't get much time. And originally you would find a lot of players are coming back and they're injured. So they have to take time off in WNBA or whatever, maybe skip training camp or whatever that might be. And now they've increased the pay. But before it was like, well, I'm making my bread overseas. So if I miss any time, it'll be WNBA. And then I'll go over there and make my bread. So it's pretty crazy, but we're probably one of the only sports that plays year round. I mean, outside of like women's soccer, a lot of the women's sports you'll find play year round.
Well,
with leagues.
Well, listen, there's only one reason why: the pay.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they took care of you guys here in the States, you wouldn't even go overseas to play.
No.
You know, and I'm praying.
And you're starting to see a little bit of that with some of the like top players, where they're now thinking like, okay, either they'll just play overseas or they'll play just in the WNBA. And the ones that are just playing in the WNBA, they have the leeway of, you know, getting endorsements and getting money from that, as opposed to just relying on that WNBA check, which is awesome because I mean, if you can get that money from endorsements and not have to go overseas, I mean, because that's not for everybody. And it's hard. True. Like people think it's like, oh, you get to travel. No, it is not for everybody. And it's a hard life to live. And that's a lot of time away from your family. If you're a family person, you know, whatever you have going on, it's a lot.
Well, you know, one thing I can tell you, professional sports is not an easy thing, period.
No.
You know, there's always challenges and different things you have to do. And you know, that's part of it. I mean, especially when you've been dreaming to play or you get to that point where you want to be there and you want to remain there. Dude, you're going to have to jump over some hoops and things to make it. There's no doubt about it. So, all right. Okay. So you go to USC and both of you guys got your undergraduate degree in what?
And
That's
human
exactly right.
performance.
Human performance.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Stefanie. Let me start with you.
Yeah.
So you go there before Bree,
Mhm.
and that was your major.
Yeah.
So what did you hope to accomplish with that degree?
Well, at first I thought about getting into like kinesiology because I really wanted to understand the
Mhm.
body and how it works. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on with my body? I need to know because I don't understand why I'm
Mhm.
getting injured. That was kind of the basis of
Ah,
why
okay.
I
Okay.
wanted to get into it. And
Mhm.
then when I really was ready to focus in on, okay, this is what I'm going to do,
Mhm.
they opened up human performance and they
Mhm.
broke down the curriculum. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is
Wow.
exactly what I want to
Mhm.
do. Like, it's there. I think there were one or two classes that I really didn't want to take that ended up not being in there.
Mhm.
But then you had to take biology, which was a
Right,
whirlwind.
right, right. Oh my
That
God.
was so
Don't mention
hard.
that word to me, right?
Oh my God. And so I kind of like, once I figured that out, I was like, yeah, this is it. But I really just wanted to know how like my body functions. Like, how am I supposed to
Okay.
be looking at certain things?
Right.
Because you have your doctors, and I wanted to be more in tune with my body
Mhm.
and my legs and my knees and what's going on
That's
and
smart.
what I could be doing.
Right.
And I took more of a physical therapy
Mhm.
into it.
Mhm.
Obviously, you have to take all the classes, but I was
Mhm.
more in tune with like, okay, if I do these types of workouts
Mhm.
or this type of training, if I do
Mhm.
this every day,
Mhm.
this is going to build this muscle, and this is how I'm
Right.
going to be able to perform and be functional in everyday life.
Right.
So I wanted to know that side of
Mhm.
things, and
Mhm.
it kind of like, helped me make sure I'm good whenever it's my time to like
Mhm.
finally be able to play. And I was able to apply that to my life. So
Wow.
that was my biggest thing, being able to apply what I learned
Mhm.
there to my own life
Mhm.
and, make it past college because I wasn't supposed to make it past college. Like, that was supposed to be it for me,
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Well, that's amazing, man. Because when I look at girls basketball, there's always a history of torn ligaments and
Yep.
things like that. And so, man, that was good. The fact that you want to find out about your own body.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
listen, this is the thing that we don't get, right? When you're an athlete, you're putting your body to the test
Hmm.
constantly.
Hmm.
You're calling your
All the
body to
time.
do some things that normal people don't do. So you better be prepared. You not only from
Exactly.
the neck down, but you better be prepared mentally, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a
Yep.
big thing. And so, Bree, what was that like for you as well? You decided to study the same thing. Did you have something else in mind? I'm gonna get this degree, and then after college, I'm gonna do this. What were you thinking?
Yeah, honestly, when I started out, I actually thought I was going to major in psychology.
Ah,
And I went and took a Psych 100 class and hated it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not for me. Um, but I knew I was already kind of interested in nutrition and just like health and wellness already.
Mhm.
And so, just like Steph, when they had that new degree kind of develop, it was like, oh, this could be a potential, opportunity for me. And so, oh, sorry, you guys, my Liana is pulling all of my cords right now. Please stop, Mama. So anyway, it was definitely a thought that I had, and I knew that it was something that I could pursue, and it could take me somewhere, even after sports are over. Because just like Steph mentioned, like at some point basketball ends, and you need to have like something to fall back on, that you can apply to your life. Please do
Right.
not throw that. Um, Sorry, y'all.
That's a
These kids right now, oh my gosh. So anyway, so yeah, pursued human performance because I decided that psychology was not going to be for me. And I
Mhm.
did have an interest in health and wellness and all of that.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
knew that it could take me somewhere. I knew it wasn't a nutrition focused one. So I actually ended up getting a minor in health promotion and nutrition.
Okay.
And so that was kind of the setup for me to kind of get some prerequisites to
Mhm.
pursue my dietitian's license in the future. I knew I wasn't ready to do that right after college because I wanted to go pro. But I knew that it would be something that I would at least have some of the courses I needed to
Right.
get me where I wanted to go.
Right. See, that's awesome. So, yeah, you guys grew up in a different generation, right? I remember with me coming out of high school in particular, I was so little, right? You know, when I went to Florida State, I weighed 145 pounds. A lot of people still don't believe that today when I tell them. I played football at Florida State. I was 145
Oh
pounds,
my gosh.
but I could run like a deer, and so I can run like a kangaroo. So, and I could play football. So that
Yeah.
got me there. But I could never put weight on. Forget keeping it on. I could never put weight on. And Stephanie, I did everything that I possibly could legally to gain weight. And I just didn't know how to do that. And knowing Bree, and I watched Bree and Bryce over the years, she's counting calories. He's going to practice today and he's exerted this much energy. So he's got to replace all these calories. I'm like, what? So there's a science behind what you guys are doing. I wish I had known half of what you guys know today, right?
I know.
My life would have been totally different, right? It'd have been totally different. I can remember in college and in the NFL, pregame meals, Bree. They would serve a steak. We had steak, bacon, you know, things like that. Fried chicken would be on the table if we played a night game. And we would eat that stuff and go out there and choke and don't know why we're choking. No, we don't know why we can't catch our wind and our breath. Well, you just ate a steak that probably is not going to digest for 3 or 4 days, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we didn't have a clue.
Come a long way. We've come a long way.
Listen. When I was a rookie in the NFL, the first game we played in, I'll never forget going to the locker room at halftime, right? And everybody's smoking cigarettes at halftime. I'm like, what is this? Where am I?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
That's intense.
The coaches come in the locker room. I'm like, the coaches are coming. Y'all gonna get in trouble. And the coaches are smoking cigarettes with them. I'm like, what is this? And then after the games, they were passing people beer and liquor. And I'm like, what is going on? I came from a very disciplined program. And my first game, I experienced all that. I'm like, wow, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then before I left, things started getting better. You know, they started changing the food. Pre-game meals were a little different, right? But, you know, it was still the old days. I wish I would know half of what you guys knew today.
Yeah, it's crazy. How come in regard to what they do and how they bring in dietitians, they bring in people and experts that can help them navigate meals. They work with chefs. I mean, things like that. Every professional organization, at least like in the NFL and NBA, you'll find has dietitians or has a nutrition professional that they're working with to help them coordinate meals for the athletes, because it really does make such a huge difference in your play. And like you, I mean, even though we knew a lot more than you guys did, we still, even at our ages and we were going through, could have done better. When I look back on it now, I'm like, you know, missed an opportunity there to fuel the way I needed to, you know, now knowing much more than what I knew, because like that's what I studied. So now when I look back, I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have ate that during that period of time, or probably should have did this a little bit differently or tested that.
Right.
And so, yeah, when you know better, you do better.
You do better. Absolutely. Well, Bree, after college, after your playing career, you got your master's at Southern Medical Center, University of Texas Southern Medical Center.
Yep,
SME?
UT Southwestern Medical Center.
Okay. And you got that degree in what?
Clinical nutrition. So I got a master's in clinical nutrition from UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas.
Okay. And then after you got that degree, you started working for different companies. You had several internships. Talk about your internships.
Yeah. So I would say, some of my main ones were the ones that were in sports. I mean, I did a lot of clinical being in my master's program. And so spent a lot of time in the hospitals, worked with transplants, worked with everything you could possibly think of. Loved it.
Wow.
Absolutely loved the clinical
Mm.
side. I had a dietitian that actually told me, though, get that experience on the clinical side because it will
Mhm.
be useful in sports. So I was getting dual experiences. I was getting the
Mhm.
clinical experience,
Mhm.
and I was also getting the experience of, sports. So
Mhm.
started out at Exos, which is one of the world renowned like training facilities for
Absolutely. Mhm.
football, for really
Mhm.
anything. They do baseball and track and field too, but for football, combine is what they're really known for, at least right now.
Mhm.
And so, here, you want this? Okay. So I started off there and
Mhm.
then actually spent some time at the Dallas location. And
Mm.
there I was able to work with combine athletes, baseball
Mhm.
athletes, track and field.
Mhm.
And it was pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and again, it kind of gave me a taste of what it looked like on the practitioner side because I knew what it looked
Okay.
like from the professional athlete side. I knew what it
Right.
was like to
Mhm.
train and
Mhm.
get ready for your upcoming season that you were getting paid
Mhm.
for. So it's post career for me. So I knew and could
Right.
relate to a lot of these athletes.
That's cool.
But my time there was great because they had everything laid out, and it
Mhm.
was a serious ordeal for these guys coming out and getting ready for a draft. So
Mhm.
that was one of my first experiences. SMU, being interim sports nutritionist there, was
Mhm.
another experience that I'll never forget because
Mhm.
it was in the collegiate realm, which is really, really hard
Wow.
because the hours that you work, you
Right.
might be there for,
Uh,
a 5 a.m. lift, and then you have to stay after for
After.
training table at 6
Right.
p.m. I
Wow.
was like, nah, this is not for me. So at that point, after SMU, I knew that the collegiate was
Uh-huh.
not for me.
Right.
I was like, I can't work these
Too much
hours. Like,
time.
this is crazy.
Too much time.
Yeah, so I'm not an athlete anymore,
Mhm.
so I can't dedicate to these hours like, I used to.
Mhm.
Um, so that was a great experience though. And then spent some time with the Dallas Cowboys where I was able to be there in the professional level
Mhm.
under a couple dietitians and really got to experience what it was like. And that really sold me on wanting to work with professional athletes because I was like, you know what, this is where it's at. These guys know what they want. They're
Right.
serious about it.
Right.
You're not spending a bunch of time babysitting,
Mhm.
anybody. It's
Mhm.
like, hey, this is serious. It's about, their financial well-being, their
Absolutely.
families, and
Absolutely.
this is what they do for a
Mhm.
living. So
Mhm.
I loved it. I could relate again to the
Mhm.
players,
Mhm.
athletes. So I really enjoyed it. So
That's
getting both clinical and professional experience was
mhm.
like the best thing I could ever recommend to anybody that's even interested in the field.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
awesome, man. So, I mean, that was good. And so here's the other thing about you two guys. Your parents are great business people in the
Yep.
Houston, Texas area. And, I mean, they got Gilbreath. If y'all don't know Gilbreath Communication, y'all need to look it up. Uh,
Yeah.
Audrey Gilbreath and Wardell Gilbreath, they are doing it in that
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
all over the country, basically, right? But they're doing it.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're doing good.
They're doing really good. And so with that in your life, having great parents that are great business people, you guys came together and formed a little company called Power Portions,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
what I want you guys to do is elaborate on Power Portions and what it is y'all do. And I want you to make sure that you give everybody who's viewing this show the opportunity to find out how to locate Power Portions and, to help them
Yeah.
because y'all helping a lot of people. And
Yeah.
this is serious, guys. I mean, this is serious. When we talk about what's going on in the world today, COVID in particular, right?
Hmm.
People who are suffering the worst from COVID are people who have underlying issues.
Hmm.
And what you guys doing at Power Portions can help people with their underlying issues,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
y'all talk about Power Portions and let the people hear about it.
Well, I'll just start with like kind of how we came into it because like just like we were talking about before, that
Mhm.
overseas life is kind of what sparked it, and it started from a blog. we were putting like our recipes on a blog, literally, and we were just typing them out, putting them on there. No nutrition facts, no nothing. We were just like, this is
Nothing.
what
Oh my
we're
God.
cooking. Like, you can go to Aldi and find everything you need
Everything you
overseas.
Yeah.
And so like people loved it. And so from
Wow.
there, we were just like, okay, well, we kind of like meal prepping. And then Bree,
Mhm.
you know, didn't have her license yet. So we were outsourcing an RD to work with athletes, because we kind of jumped in there with athletes instead of for, you know, working from the ground up. We kind of started at the top, and we were like, oh my God, so we're here now, so we got to do something.
They don't turn it back.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
so we were meal prepping. People, like athletes, wanted our food, so we were meal prepping and doing nutrition consultations with a contracted RD. And then Bree
Mhm.
finally got her license, and she got her master's and everything like that. So we were doing everything in the house, and then eventually we decided we were going to cut off the meal prep side of things, and just focus on nutrition and building out meal plans for professional athletes, college athletes, whoever, like athletes in general, and then building out nutrition courses and one-on-one nutrition coaching and group programs for general wellness. So now that's the basis of what we do. We kind of just focus on the nutrition side and let the meal prep people do the meal prep, because that was a lot. That was a learning curve for
Yes.
us. We still build out, you know,
Of
we
course.
still build out like meal recipes and everything. We still love that side of things, but we just focus on the nutrition side of what's going on. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, Bree was here for Thanksgiving. And one thing I can say about her and both of you guys, I know, you know, you're going to always continue to develop what you do
Yeah.
until you get where, and then when you get there, you're still going to be looking for ways to keep improving, because you're former athletes.
Exactly.
All the
Right?
time. It's
Yep.
never
That's
good
what y'all
enough.
do,
It's
right?
innate.
It's never
Right.
good enough.
And so Bree had me going, had me laughing here when she was doing, because she got her test back from her, what was the thing that you did?
The MRT testing.
Right.
The food sensitivity. We had everybody in the
Sensitivity.
company take a test, because that's what we, you know, do for our clients. So that's one of the testing they have access to. And we all decided that we were going to take one too. And it was interesting when we got our test results back.
Right.
There were some things we just didn't know, like, and you don't know unless you do testing.
Unless you do testing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was pretty interesting when we went down the list. Bree had some things on there. I was like, oh, I don't know how Bree is gonna get. I don't know how
Oh,
she's
I
gonna
was
do
I was really thrown off. I was not, you know, and I think, like, as a dietitian, we spend so much time assessing other people, right? So I spend so much time ordering other people's labs and tests and assessing them and figuring out what they need and what's going on with their bodies. And I was like, you know what? I need to like figure out what's going on with my body so I can see, you know, what I'm doing. Because obviously, after having 2 kids, your body changes a lot.
It does.
And so you have to, and then, you know, when you're no longer an athlete, your body changes a lot.
Body
So I've
changes.
gone through a lot of transitions.
Mhm.
And for me, it was like, okay, let's figure out, you know, what could be going on with my body. And I was actually dealing with migraines. So that was my specific reasoning for wanting to do the testing on myself, and then knowing, okay, if I'm going to offer this to my clients, I need to know the process and like be able to share in that experience with them.
Right.
And so when I got those
Absolutely.
results back, I said, oh no, you know, some of my favorite
Oh,
things to eat were on
on
there.
the list.
And but it
Exactly.
made so much sense to
Right.
me because I was able to kind of connect the dots. And so I would highly recommend that, you know, for people. I've been
Yeah.
telling everyone about it because I'm just like, no, this is a game changer for you. So it's really
Absolutely.
important to figure out what's going on with your body. You know, learn more about it,
Mhm.
learn more about how it responds and all those good things.
Right. Well, you know, it's funny, right? Because you know, it's really a discipline. I mean, and you have to discipline yourself. And I
Yep.
always say it's a lot easier for us who are former athletes
Mhm.
So when we make our mind up, we're gonna do it, right?
Yeah,
There's nothing,
exactly.
Exactly.
nothing's gonna
Exactly.
nothing's gonna get in the way. But for most people, they're not that disciplined. So
Mhm.
they need people like you and your support to help them through the process, right?
Yeah,
And
Hmm.
so,
yeah,
that's what you do at Power Portions. Part of what you do at Power Portions, right?
Yeah.
yeah. And
Cool.
it really is it's for anyone.
Mhm.
Even people that sometimes can be hard-headed, sometimes like if you're dealing with something and you can't quite pinpoint what it is, it's great. It to figure out what's going on. That
Mhm.
underlying assessment is huge. I
Mhm.
got your son, he did a test,
Ah, you got
MRT
him.
test.
You got him.
He got his results back today. He wasn't
Oh
too
my God.
happy.
I know. Is he home? He's probably
You
out
know,
just eating stuff now, right?
it's funny because you mentioned how like athletes take it and we're like, what, so now
Mhm.
it's like, all right, very analytical about the situation. Like he's been going through the house looking at food labels and so it's been
I love it.
very
I
interesting,
love it.
flipping scripts
I
when it
love it.
comes
I
to
love it.
Mr. Candy Eater over here.
I wish they had him there straight up. You can't eat no more candy, dude.
Yeah, tell him.
He left a trail of it back here at my house.
Now I as a fellow candy eater, I have to have Bryce's back. Can't take it all
Here we
out.
go.
You can't
Since he
take it
can't
all
speak for
out.
himself, you got his
Yeah,
back.
I'm gonna hold him down. I'm gonna hold him down.
Oh, that is so funny. But this health thing is a serious thing, man. And I'm just telling you. And the older I get, I'm 62 years old, and I'm still fighting for things, right? I'm
Mhm.
still fighting for things, trying to keep my weight in check, trying to work out, trying to
Yeah.
drink, a certain amount of water every day. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink anything like that. I don't drink juices unless it's natural fruit that I can juice myself in a juicer. I'm not going for that store-bought stuff. I'm not, put it this way. My goal in life is not to drink calories.
Mhm.
All right. And that's just me. That's some of the things that I'm trying to do for myself.
Mhm.
Every male on my father's side of the family is diabetic.
Mhm.
All right. And so I'm not a diabetic, but I'm trying to keep my arm out. I'm trying to keep a stiff arm
Right.
between me and stuff like that, and just try to live clean as much as possible. And I like the 80-20 plan,
Yeah.
but the human mind is just crazy, right? Nobody's really disciplined to do that. So what I do,
It's hard.
I take the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'm gonna drink coffee. I'm gonna eat cinnamon rolls, and she know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do that, but then in a week from now, I'm done, and I won't do that again until next October, November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you gotta give yourself a little slack.
I always tell clients, around this time of the year, it's tricky, right?
Right.
So you're going to have a lot of things available to you that might not be as wholesome as like, fruits and
Mhm.
vegetables, right?
Right.
They're going to be there. It's inevitable. It's the
Mhm.
staple of the holidays.
Right.
So I always tell people, first and foremost, give yourself some grace. There's going to
Mhm.
be times when you're going to indulge in those things and you don't want to, seclude yourself from your family or friends just simply
Right.
because you're trying to be so strict on a diet. That's
Right.
not what it's all about.
Mhm.
But then at the same time, there are ways
Mhm.
to make sure you keep balance. We
Mhm.
actually have some of this stuff on our blog. So check out our
Mhm.
website, gopowerportions.com, because we talk about, navigating holidays and
Mhm.
navigating eating right. And
Right.
it's all about finding balance. Don't go
Mhm.
into your family dinners, starving. Don't
Mhm.
save up your calories for the
Mhm.
whole day
Right.
because then you're going to get there and you're going to be starving. You're probably going to end up overeating or
Right.
indulging in a lot of things you're not going to feel good after. So
Wow,
it's
that's true.
like, that's a happy medium right there of
Mhm.
just making sure you're eating throughout the day. So when it's time for
Mhm.
dinner or when
Mhm.
it's time for that early, late
Mhm.
lunch, that you're eating normal. And even
Right.
if you indulge in some of your
Mhm.
favorite foods, you're
Mhm.
still going to balance your body out. You're still going to listen to your hunger and
Right.
fullness cues. So there's so many tips that we share,
Mhm.
whether it's like on Instagram or our blog
Mhm.
or whatever. So if you're interested in that, definitely check us out for sure.
Well, how do they do it? They go to what? Powerportion.com?
GoPowerPortions.com.
Yeah.
GoPowerportion.com, right?
Let me see if I can drop it in the comments.
Oh,
I'm not
cool
sure
that.
if I
Do that.
can
Do that.
write it in there. I don't know if I can send it to everybody. Y'all might have to do it on your end.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gopowerportions.com. And then our Instagram is power_portions
Okay.
and wholesome refine. So we have two.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, if y'all listen to this show, y'all go check them out, because I'm telling you, they're serious about what they do. This will make a big difference in your life. I promise you. I promise you,
Yeah.
guys. And one thing I can say about the both of them, I know them quite well. Y'all know that, because that's my daughter-in-law. The first female in my life, other than my wife, right there.
Yes.
Briana Gilbreath Butler. And so listen, I know what they're doing is great. So go check them out. And, you know, and if you're interested, you know, get in touch with them and do the thing. Just do it.
Yeah.
Get involved, change your life. And like we sit here talking about, you don't have to just go crazy on it, but you need to take some steps toward great health. And and at the end of the day, it starts with you. It don't start with somebody. It starts with you making a decision. Make your mind up that you're going to live a healthier life and a better life for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And don't wait. Don't do like Bobby. He's waiting until January.
Oh,
Don't wait.
I got another week.
Wait.
I got another week.
Start practicing now. Add some veggies and some fruits to those plates. Even when you're having the things that you love, piece of cake, whatever, you know, add stuff to it. You know, don't focus so much on taking things away. Focus on adding things in, adding some healthy fats, adding some lean protein, some fruits, some vegetables, some things that are really going to keep your system going during the holidays. And if you do that, I promise, come January, you won't feel so lost. I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna start tonight.
Sounds good.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, man. I've been looking forward to getting with you guys, and I gotta get Wardell on the show. Y'all know he got.
Oh my gosh.
Because aren't they talking about trying to do like boycotting the Olympics or something?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a good, because that happened to him. That's what happened to him.
For your dad.
Oh, I brought it up and he briefly was just
my gosh. Well, you know, we boycotted the 1980 Olympics. That was his Olympics. That was his time to shine.
That was his time.
And the United States was not represented. Yep. Stopped his career. That was pretty much it came to an end at that point. And so he's sour about that.
Yeah.
So listen, thank you guys again for the show. Love you guys. Steph, you got to come back and visit me in Atlanta, the ATL.
I know. I got to come back.
You got to come and hang out, right? You got to do that. And so this is our show. If you like the show tonight, comment, share it with your friends. Hey, and tell everybody about this show tonight, because this is life stuff we're talking about tonight. You know, and so comment, share with your friends. This is 100 Yards of Football. I'm your man, your host, Bobby Butler. This is our legend segment. And we had the great Stefanie Gilbreath and Briana Gilbreath Butler with us tonight, sharing their dream, their past, and their journey. Thank you guys so much for your time.